Namaste, my beautiful queens, kings, if any. Sometimes when I want to share something with you, I am having this conversation with myself, which I had the same conversation with myself when I was in a process of writing my book. Part of me would said, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. No one needs it. No one would read it. No one would care, or no one would believe. And another part of me said this, you know what? It's my heart arguing with my logical mind, and my heart would say, you know what? Those who need to hear it, those whose heart needs to hear it and to know it, those will read it, those will hear. We're having midnight now. I do not know if you're sitting. I would ask you to probably relax in your chair or on your couch, or close your eyes. I am reading this book and I'm choosing so many parts which I want to share with you, but I do not know why. But I want to read from this book a couple pages, and I want you to listen to my voice as if it was a meditation. Knowledge is given in this book is priceless, cosmic, absolutely out of this 3D, 5D, even 7D dimension. It's above the 12th level and above any levels around our planet. I don't want you to think. I would ask you to simply listen to my voice reading these words. Listen to my words with your heart, because life is so life in 3D dimension in physical body can be unpredictable. And again, I decided to share it with you. Part of me said, oh, whatever, who's gonna listen to it, who's gonna hear you? But my heart said, you know what, if tomorrow I am not here, let it be my last words. Let it just be something which those who need to hear will hear. So I will just read it from this book, then I will show you the book. I would ask you to relax and simply hear to my voice. Love, said the master, is the foundation of all emotions. In truth, there is only one emotion. There is only love. What about hate? Said one of the younger students. Isn't that the opposite of love, and therefore a second emotion? What is hate but the fear that love has withdrawn? Said the master. Well, what about anger? Said another student. Anger, said the master, is fear in action. When a person is angry, that person is actually afraid first, at the deeper level, afraid that they won't get their work done, meet their financial commitments, or find the right partner, and so on and so on. Fear sits behind all anger. Fear sits behind all anger. Lust, then what about lust? Said a young man in a circle. The master patiently answered once again. Lust is simply the expression that Suddenly the master was interrupted mid-sentence by San. Lust is also based on fear, blurted out San. The master looked at San with a smile. San is a name, short of Sanviel. Yes, Sanviel, this is correct. And Sanviel, the fear is based on what? That there can be an absence of love. That love can be sometimes but not other times, and that it must be possessed and owned. Yet love is never ending. Yet love is everywhere. Love powers everything. Therefore, there can never be a situation where there is no love, only people forgetting that love exists, replied San. The students all turned to look at him. I don't know where it came from, said San. Sorry, master. On the contrary, Sanviel, said the master, you are completely correct. So thank you for expanding both yours and our understanding. A little later, San walked up the narrow path to a simple hut constructed entirely of natural materials. A fire lamp burned in the window. He knocked on the door. Come in, Sanviel, said the master. An aura of peace pervaded the room. I called you here because it is time. Time for what, master? Said Sanviel. It is time for you to find out who you are. Who you really are, said the master in a more serious tone. I do not understand, said Sanviel, confused. I know, my boy. Soon you will. Generally, the universe prefers a person to awaken to their true power all by themselves. This will be no different for you, except you are to be given a helping hand to accelerate the initial process because your destiny demands it. And he paused. Time is exceedingly short. I still don't understand, said San. The master walked over to Sanviel. Do you know what is samadhi? He said to him. I've heard the other student talk about it. This is an expanded sense of consciousness or something, he replied. Yes, in a way. Well, I am going to assist you to experience samadhi. And in doing so, your soul will reveal to you what needs to be revealed. Do I have your permission to do this? Asked the master. Ha, will it hurt? Said San. Yes, said the master, but not in the way you presently thinking. Oh well, then the answer is yet, replied San. The master walked over to San and motioned for him to sit down opposite him cross-legged. They both entered a meditative state. After a while, when San, breathing had quieted, the master leaned forth and tapped him 3 times on a sacred area on the chest. For a moment, nothing happened, and San wondered, why did he do that? Whilst keeping his eyes closed, then an image began to form in his mind. A great breath then filled his lungs, and his visual field filled with thousands of images. San saw himself being killed several times in starship above another planet. Then he saw his life as a pashat, another planet, as a master of the higher teachings on another planet, and then he was part of the infamous draconian Pleiadic incident. Pleiadic is the planet where the events are taking part. And then he saw his destiny. He began to weep great sobs with the profoundness of it all, the intensity, the magnitude, the burden, the honor, the pain of the people, and the hope, and the hope, the hope. 2 hours later, he slumped forward, a distraught mess of emotions. The master patted him on the back and said, "I am sorry. I had to do that. And for several days now I have resisted, in spite of nearly 2 months of dreams and instructions from my own inner connection. But my dear boy, no, my dear brother, this process was necessary for this world upon which you sit, and those of similar ability to yourself need you this very day." The master was looking at him with reverence. Then with a tear-streaked face, San returned his gaze to the master. "Samuel," the master explained, "your eyes are blue." Samuel had been born with brown eyes, and an ancient Pleiadian prophecy, the planet Pleiadic is where these events are taking place. Unfortunately, it's located way too far for us to know its location from our planet Gaia. Samuel had been born with brown eyes, and an ancient Pleiadian prophecy had once said, when those who have brown eyes become blue, then the days of one in harmony are upon you, but not until the old way has passed in a blaze of fire and heat. "What must I do?" San asked Tikmut to master. "Stay here. Why? Stay here a while longer and settle into the new awareness. Then return and finish your final exam, as your official qualifications will prove you're useful to the people in accepting you. Then return here for 1 year, meditate deeply, and then go forth and do what you must do." San could see everywhere and anywhere, both in front of himself and behind himself at the same time. San did not yet know how this was possible, but here he was doing it. He saw the master's true being, far extended and not contained at all in the fragile semi-physical form. He could see his eyes without looking in reflection. He had the ability to look and see in ways that he could not explain. He could see. Zwane Alexander Blackwell, Twin Flame Revelation. Answering the call to save humanity. To my shock, the words which written here of love, one of the basic idea and the words mentioned at the beginning of my work, my book, and at the end about what love is. We are here, everyone who is hearing me now, everyone who is listening to me now, forget about the word coincidence. It doesn't exist. Every single one of you who is hearing my voice, everything I just said, you already known inside of you. You are living by it. You have gone through so much since your very childhood, because this is how our training was, so we wouldn't break. Chosen ones. Somehow when I first heard those words from a woman whose face I don't remember, but I remember that she put her palm on my head. I was very little, and she said, chosen one. And everyone was thinking that woman was some crazy. I don't remember much of her, but people were afraid of her, and they were laughing behind her back. And somehow I thought chosen is someone who would have blessed and easy life. No, no. Chosen is the one with a very hard task, and in order to handle that task, we had been going through so much. So we became this Damascus blade, unbreakable blade, indestructible. We can fall, but we always rise. We are all phoenixes, we are all firebirds. So deep inside, we always knew the truth. We know it now. We will know it in the future. I am grateful to each one of you as you are helping me keep on going, because you each shining very brightly. And let me read these words to you again. Love, said the Master, is the foundation of all emotions. In truth, there is only one emotion. There is only love. What about hate? Said one of the younger students. Isn't that the opposite of love, and therefore a second emotion? What is hate but the fear that love has withdrawn? Said the Master. What about anger? Anger is fear in action. When a person is angry, that person is actually afraid first, at the deeper level afraid that they will not get their work done, meet their financial commitments, find the right partner. Fear sits behind the anger. Lust is also based on fear. Fear Fear is based on what? That there can be an absence of love. That love can be sometimes but not other times, and that it must be possessed or owned. Yet love is never ending. Love is everywhere. Love powers everything. Therefore, there can never be a situation where there is no love, only people forgetting that love exists. People are forgetting that love exists. We are here to remind them. But I've made this video just a couple hours ago about self-love. We must not forget that as well. Because while we don't have it in us, we cannot give it to others. We have to feel it inside in order to be able to teach others to do the same, and others to feel love, to embrace love, to understand this is a natural state of living. Love is living. No love, no living. If the heart is not beating with love, it's dead. Absence of love is death. So may your heart be always alive. And may everything and anything you do with love. Because without this, everything is dead. Love is life. No love, no life. Those of you who needed to hear me, those heard me. Namaste.